Hello, I'm Bill Ferguson. Every one of us has a suppressed childhood hurt that runs our life today. See, when we were born pure love. We were happy, alive, and free. But we're born into a world that kills it. So what happens is that every single one of us collides with our culture, and every single one of us experiences very, very, very painful losses of love. And as a little child, the only way we can explain these incredibly painful losses of love is to blame ourselves. Clearly, I'm the problem. And then we decide what that problem is. I'm not good enough. I'm not worth loving. I'm worthless. I'm a failure. I'm this, I'm that. And it is never, 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 never the truth. But in the eyes of a little child, it becomes our truth. And then we spend the whole rest of our lives running from it. And if any circumstance comes along and triggers that hurt, that circumstance will be perceived as a major threat. So we're going to have to either attack it or run from it. So in the presence of this hurt, we operate in a state of fear, upset, and tunnel vision. We lose our ability to see clearly. We lose our ability to see what works, and we interact in a way that almost always makes the situation worse, which brings us more hurt. So this hurt is incredibly destructive. Literally every area of life that doesn't work can be traced to the automatic subconscious avoidance of this hurt. So healing this hurt is just incredibly, incredibly important, because until you heal it, you're going to be forced to repeat the past. Now, the first step in healing it is to discover what it is. Now, in looking for the hurt, keep in mind that you're not looking for the truth. You're looking for an emotion. In fact, what we'll see later is that it would be physically impossible for you to be worthy, worthless, success, failure, good enough, not good enough, because these things are all judgments. They don't exist in reality. They only exist in our mind. They're judgment. They're relative. They're relative to something. So, although they do not exist in reality, they're very real in our reality, and we fight them. But what we fight is the emotion. So to find the hurt that runs your life, you're looking for the emotion, not the truth. And the emotion will always be some form of feeling not okay, not good enough, not worth loving, worthless, failure, something like that. Now, the best place to look to find this hurt is to look at the hurt you experienced as a child. So go back in time to when you were real little and put yourself in the hurt that you experienced as a child. And then from that place of hurt, look into your life and see, what do those circumstances say about you? If your own parents treat you like that, what incredibly painful thing would that say about you? And how do you feel with the notion that those people were right about you? You really are that way. And not only are they right about you, but they were totally justified in treating you the way that they did, because you are so worthless, not good enough, not worth loving, fill in the blank. Well, the more painful that would be, the more it runs your life. See, and that's what you're looking for. Don't look to see, is it true about you? Instead, look to see, if it were true, would that be painful? And the more painful it would be, the more it runs your life. Another place to look is to look at your upsets. Make a list of all the major upsets that you've had throughout your life. And then go to the hurt that's underneath each upset, and then ask yourself, according to the emotion, what incredibly painful negative thing would that say about you? So for example, if somebody leaves you in a relationship and that's painful, that might say you're not worth loving. If you get fired from a job, that might say you're not good enough or a failure. So make a list of all the major upsets you've had during your life and look at the hurt that's underneath each one, and then look for a theme that shows up over and over and over again. Then make a list of your biggest fears. If your fears came true, what is the hurt you'd have to feel? What would those circumstances say about you? Notice it's going to be the same hurt. Then take a look and see, what do you need for your happiness? Well, in reality, we don't need anything for our happiness, because happiness can only come from within. But we think we do. Well, we think we need something to avoid feeling our hurt. So look to see, what do you need for your happiness? What are you driven towards? And then look to the opposite. If you never got what you need, what incredibly painful thing would that say about you? Another place to look is, look at the areas of your life that don't work. Where do you suffer? Well, those areas work for other people, but they don't work for you. So in the hurt of that, what incredibly painful thing would that say about you? So keep working with this and see if you can get a good idea of what the hurt is. And then later I'm going to walk you through the process of actually healing this hurt. See, it's not difficult to heal the hurt, because the hurt's not based on fact. It's stuff that got made up as a child and then magnified. So since we made it up, we can unmake it up. So for right now, look and see if you can identify what the hurt is, because the more you can identify it, the easier it is to heal it. Another thing is to be willing to feel it, keeping in mind that it's nothing more than an emotion. And an emotion is nothing more than a body sensation. It's just a feeling. There is nothing threatening about it in reality. It's only a threat in our mind. So see if you can find what the hurt is, and then be willing to feel it. And then the more you're willing to feel it, the more it loses power. And we'll talk more about this later.